These are my top 5 back exercises for boxing. We can also include kickboxing and Muay Thai in this, karate, taekwondo, anything that involves striking. Now, why do boxers typically have such well-developed backs? You see that among many of the professionals, they have these wide, dense, muscular backs. And there's a couple of reasons. One, it's important to be able to offset all of the things that are happening in front of you. Boxing is a very forward or anterior dominant sport. Everything is done in front of you with your fists and your shoulders, which can potentially lead to some issues where you often see fighters who can't get the arms over their head because they're just so rounded over. You can train the muscles in the back to help potentially offset some of these negative adaptations. Secondly, you need to be able to whip the arms back quickly after you've thrown a strike, so you can throw faster combinations or you can defend yourself. And this movement is facilitated by the muscles in the back. So these are my top 5 back exercises that you can start using in your routine to help you develop some of these abilities. Now, as always, make sure you check the description because the boxing strength conditioning blueprint is down there, running you through everything you need to know to maximize your strength conditioning for boxing. Plus, 7-day free trial on the 3 Times to Fighting training app, and you can work with me one-on-one down there too. Just check those links. So let's move to the first exercise. It's a split stance cable row, or you can use bands. Basically anything that allows you to do a horizontal row, even flywheels. Doing this with the flywheel is essentially the mega level S tier version of this, but most people don't have access to flywheels on a cable column, so cables and bands will have to work. So why this particular variation? It puts you in that contralateral stance where you have your split, where you have your left leg forward, but you're rowing with your right arm. So you're getting this huge stretch on what people would call like the posterior oblique sling if you're into some of that more fascial based work. But regardless, it gets you into this contralateral movement where you're having to get a bigger stretch on the muscles in the back and then having to row load from that position. Now it also gives you some of the upper lower body separation as well. So you're having to have that left hip forward with that right shoulder forward. And those are positions that you'll find yourself within boxing too. So you're strengthening a lot of the areas that you want to for the sport of boxing. That's one of the reasons I really like it. Now, if you do have flywheels, it's really nice because you can get the eccentric overload on the way through and you have no sticking points. But even without it, you can row relatively heavy doing this. You can do it with momentum as well, so almost like a power row, or you can do it more strict where you're trying to maintain your body posture and you're just really feeling the muscle work. All of these are viable options depending on what you're trying to achieve. If I'm going to give you set reps for this, honestly, it's going to vary depending on what you're doing. But you can go anywhere as low as 5 reps all the way up to 10, 15, 20 reps depending on what you're trying to do. Probably wouldn't do ultra high reps with this, but your typical 5 to even up to 15 will probably work quite well depending on what you're doing. So exercise number 2, which is still a back exercise, even though it doesn't quite touch on those areas that we just touched on there. It's a back extension with a twist. And yes, you're going to get some lower body involvement here, but regardless, you're going to hit the erectors in the lower back well, and you're going to have some rotation. That's what I really like about this particular variation versus just a traditional back extension. Now you can use a 90-degree or a 45-degree back extension. That's just going to change where the hardest point of the exercise is. Where your body is parallel to the ground is the hardest point of the exercise. So during a 90-degree back extension, the top where your back is completely straight is the hardest point and will place a little more stress on the erectors than the 45-degree back extension, but either or works really well. Now all you're going to do is twist your upper body as you come up, so it's one simple motion, and again allows you some of that upper lower separation, but trains the erectors really well and will give you a very strong lower back. Typically I like to do this one with slightly higher reps, so anywhere from 10 to 20 reps, and that'll be 5 to 10 each side, and I'll load it by holding a plate. The third exercise, one you've seen on this channel before, it's a 1-arm iso hang side bend. We don't even have a name for it, but either way, you can see it in the video playing now. You're holding a long duration isometric, but you're in this crescent or side bend shape, and you're actively trying to straighten your body. So you're trying to pull your feet towards the middle, and then you're trying to pull your elbow down to your ribs like you're performing a pull-up. And this is what is creating the tension down the long side of your body. And that tension is coming through your lats and your obliques. And we know that if we have high tensions or high intensities during long duration isometrics, at these long muscle lengths, we can potentially look to increase muscle fascicle length and then increase muscle contractile velocity. And that means we can have more speed potentially in pulling our arm back, or even in some of our combination movements. So this one, you're gonna hold for anywhere from 45 plus seconds. Typically anywhere 45 to 2 minutes tends to be kind of like that sweet spot range to be able to do this. You can accumulate time there. You can do 1 or 2 sets if you're on the lower end, or you can just go kind of like max time trying to keep that tension for as long as possible. We've got exercise number 4, which is more of a traditional movement, a weighted chin up. You can even put body weight chin ups here. You You can put pull-ups here. The only difference is chin up, supinated grip, pull-up is the pronated grip. You have neutral grip chin-ups. Honestly, you can throw all of these in this category. It's basically a vertical pulling movement. Essentially, nothing will get your lats as strong as getting damn good at weighted chin-ups. Typically, my go-to is 5 to 6 reps and 3 to 4 sets. And often I like to finish after, say, 3 sets of 5 to 6 with 1 set of body weight, and then it'll be like max reps. That's like my go-to set and rep scheme for these. That just works damn well, and you can just continually improve as you add load to your weighted chin-ups. Now, I will say that doing the same grips all the time can potentially lead to elbow problems. I know straight bars can cause some issues. So try vary your grip regularly, whether that's within training cycles, within the training week, or even between sets. Another option is to use things like rings that allow your arms to naturally rotate, and that way you're going to reduce your risk of picking up elbow injuries and overuse injuries. And my final movement is a one-arm dumbbell row. I love this exercise because it's so versatile and it can pack on mass on your back if you need it, but it also makes you damn strong. There's a couple of different ways of setting up and doing it. You can be on a bench, which is probably the most often taught way of doing it. You can even do it standing. The bench is probably just the easiest to set up because it just allows you to support your body. And your goal is to essentially row the dumbbell back almost towards your hip. You don't want to row it up to your ribs. That's where you start to get more upper trap involved. You're kind of looking at that mid-lower trap and lats when you're doing this type of row. Now, in terms of sets and reps, you have a large range you can do here. You can go anywhere. Typically, I like to do anywhere from 8 to 20 reps, depending on what I'm trying to achieve. You can go lower. For example, if you're doing more power or dead stop style one-arm dumbbell rows, you can go like 5 to 6 reps even. So you have a lot of versatility with what you're trying to achieve out of this exercise, but it's going to absolutely hammer your lats and your mid-back, which is something you want to achieve when you're doing these back exercises. So if you want to go deeper into how you can implement some of these exercises within a boxing strength conditioning program, watch this video next. I go through everything you need to know for boxing strength training so you can design your own program and move past the surface level lifting content that you may be seeing all over YouTube and social media.